Okay, people, I'm just going to do a quick little video here. It is now June 2nd at 11 minutes after midnight. So, basically, I'm in another dilemma. What's new? I've been in this dilemma for a long time, though. Gotta have that heart of steel, right? Doesn't matter what I do, people. It never measures up to the ones that like to fucking... I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, here's the issue. Okay? See this? This is a muscle relaxant for Amari. Right? It's spelt... How is it spelt? I don't even know. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it out. Okay? B-A-C-L-O-F-E-N. And basically, it has the potential for side effects. Now you have to remember, he's on, what is it called? The seizure medication. He didn't have a seizure until they changed the drinks that he's on now. I'm pretty sure he got them after they changed the drinks, people. And then he had the seizure, and he's pretty much been on seizure medication ever since. Right? And there was a couple times when we forgot, right? So you miss, right? And then he had another seizure, and it was more than likely related to the fact that we forgot. Right? And I'm thinking, oh, well, it's, 4 o'clock in the morning. I just remembered. I'll just leave it till 10 in the morning, or whatever, and next thing you know, he's having a seizure. Anyway, okay. Before he had the new drinks that he's got now, he used to be a very good little eater. Like, I never had a problem with him, people. Yeah, a little bit with the gagging, but he I could mash it with a fork and chop it all up, and and he'd eat it all 95% of the time. Now I have to hold his mouth, and I have to encourage him, and sometimes he just like this, and I try not to, I don't want to force it on him, so I don't push it all the time, right? Sometimes I'm like, no, you need to, like, open up, and he'll right, I go like this gently, and he'll open his mouth or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like, ever since they changed the drinks and he had the seizure, people, like, it's not been easy, right? And I have to literally puree the food now. Forget this mashing and this chopping. He won't take it. No. Because, right, they changed the drinks. He had the seizure. They gave him the seizure medication. And then he basically just wanted to stop eating. Kind of like that, yeah. Right? But I have to, I could give him yogurt today, and he might eat it. I mean, there's times he'll eat, right? Thinking, okay, give him the same yogurt tomorrow, or whatever. It's like a chore. Like such a freaking chore. You don't even know. You stop it. Go to sleep. Why are you awake, as your mother would say? Amari. Okay, some of the side effects of this drug, which is for, I typed out a whole bunch of stuff. I read, but I'm going to deep read. Because I'm people, I'm going to be going into a battle zone here. As if I got any energy to be battling people. Okay, doctors at that. Because they want to compound the drugs now. Okay? For the longest time, everybody was, did he have a seizure? Did he have a seizure? Did he have a seizure? No, 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 no. Until they changed the drinks, and then he had the seizure. So that was the excuse to put him on the seizure medication. To which, I don't want to miss any doses, because I don't like it when he has seizures. It's a frightening experience, trust me. Okay? So, you know, like, I'm like in panic mode all the time. You don't even know people. Speaking of that, my landlady had a heart attack, but they caught it in time, thank God. So she's in the hospital, and they were going to do a CT CAT scan or something, and then maybe have to do open heart surgery. But her daughter-in-law said that she'd only be in the hospital for about 5 days, and I'm like, 5 days after open heart surgery? Like, how is that even possible? But I said, you know, your mom is like, she's a tough old bird, right? You know, she's got a lot of spirit. I'm sure she'll be fine, right? She'll make sure she's, you know. So anyway, you know, let's just keep your prayers for Mrs. Gill, okay? She's 82, not 84. But they caught it in time, because as soon as I was told that, I thought of Pastor Granny, right? Yeah, I thought of Pastor Granny, and but I guess she felt it coming, and then I don't know, her daughter-in-law or family, I don't know if she phoned or if they were in the house, and she said, you know, please call 911, I guess. And so they came, and apparently the paramedics didn't pick up on the heart attack, but when they took her to the hospital, it was confirmed that she had one. So it must have been a minor one, but that doesn't mean she won't have a big one, right? Where Pastor Granny maybe had the big one. And I think, as a matter of fact, I think when her daughters came in, she was already kind of slumped over, so, right, which was too late by that time, because Pastor Granny died 3 days later, so. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about Amari here, because you don't know people. Like, I'm like, you know, like, they couldn't wait for him to have a freaking seizure. He didn't have a seizure until, what, like, he was 5, right? Just, okay? And, you know, like, to me, it just felt like they couldn't wait for it to happen. And then, of course, it happened, right? And now he's on the seizure medication. Okay. Prior to that, they wanted to put him on drooling medication, because, you know, sometimes he drools. Doesn't drool all the time, but, right? And I said, no, you know, I lived with Uncle John for years and 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 years. And even before then, he was drooling. So, you know, right? Oh, he's making noise. I gotta go check on him. What are you doing over there? You're moving around too much. Go to sleep. What kind of noise is that? Listen, look what you're doing. You're falling off the couch. Stop it. You move around too much. Yeah. You do. You move around too much. You move around way too much. You think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. No, I don't think it's funny. Not at all. Go to sleep. Make it easy for Nana. Okay, let me put it to you this way. I said no to the seizure medication. I mean, to the drooling medication. Okay? And then he had, so that happened like throughout the years. Let's put him on drooling I said no. I said no. I said no. Okay? And then, of course, he had the seizure. And then, of course, I didn't have much of a choice for that one, right? Because, you know. And now, because he's active. Like, seriously. The only problem with him, though, is his left side is extremely strong. Like, really strong. Where his right side, I don't know. I don't see that well, but I can see it. Like, he's got no muscle tone, like, no muscles. Like, he's just bone and skin, right? Because he's like this all the time, right? And, it gets tight, so I'm always having to, work his arm, it pops, whatever, okay? But it's not like him using his, right? He has, you can see, right? And, like, you can see the difference between the two hands, and in here and in here. And it's the same thing with his leg. Like, on the left side, like, he's really strong. Where the right side, is a little more skinnier, and, he doesn't use it that much, as much, right? And, but it's tight, right? Everything on the right is tight. So he kind of gimped, I guess they call it spasticity or something. Oh, I was going to look here. Spasticity, where the muscles are tight. And that's why they want to give him this medication, because it's a muscle relaxant. To relax, right? Because they're booking him in for surgery, people. And I feel like this stuff is like it is addictive, okay? I printed this stuff out. It is addictive. It's not something that once you start it, you can just wean off of it. You can overdose on the bloody shit. It can cause vomiting. It can cause nauseating. It can make your eyes go all weird. It can cause psychoses, confusion. There's a whole list of things it can fucking cause. Shut up! Shut up! Now, and I'm like, what's the alternative? Well, there's physiotherapy, stretching, massage, a lot of that. So I'm like ordering, massage oil, and I've got olive oil, and I'm getting essential oils, and, I'm trying to massage them more versus just kind of like doing whatever I do, right? And, I don't know, people. I just feel like you don't even know how I fucking feel. Right? I don't want my grandson, and they want it 2 times a day. Every day. In combination with his seizure medication. Just back to back. Do them together. Don't, that's what they told Tisha. Just tell your mom to do it at the same time that they give him the seizure medication. So they're going to have him 2 times a day on 2 different fucking drugs, where one of them actually wipes him out. Basically. And he likes to move. You see, that's the thing. Right? He constantly sitting himself up and turning his ass around and trying to worm himself off the couch. If he doesn't. Which he doesn't do very often, but he can do it if he wants to do it. But he's aware also too, right? He's aware that there is a drop there. So, he's pretty good at paying attention to staying away from the edge. But, of course, if he gets too close, his body, he can't control his body, right? Spasticity comes from brain injury. Okay? Spasticity, like this tightness shit, comes from brain injury. Or, what else? Spinal cord injury. Now, you have to remember, I've always felt that Amari's spine, his back was broken. Okay? I do. I still, to this day, feel like Amari's back was broken when he was delivered. Or damn near broken. Okay? Yeah. But I don't think I'm necessarily getting the full truth and nothing but truth from these freaking doctors. Yeah. Serious. They're still too busy pointing their fingers at Shamay so they can distract away from what they do. Alright? I'm just saying. So anyway, I did type out a printout. Some of this stuff. Because I'm like, I don't want a vegetable or a child that's drugged up. Because when they gave the prescription to Tisha, all they said is, just tell your mom he might get dizzy and sleepy. No, it's a little more dizzy than sleepy. Okay? It's a lot more complicated than that. You know, God forbid if he starts freaking puking. Okay? Or, you know, he doesn't want to eat because he feels nauseated when I'm already struggling to get him to eat things because something changed from the time they changed his drink to the time he had the seizure. Now, if he was on this medication, he wouldn't be acting like this, except maybe if he was feeling sickly with it, right? Then it would be a fucking dilemma. And my heart would be going like this as I got people fucking judging me that I'm not doing a good enough freaking job. Yeah, okay. I'm just saying, right? Do you see how the stress compounds with this crap? Okay. Because I told Tisha today, I don't want him on this medication. And she started chewing in on me. As if she does anything that I do, right? Like, go away from me. What the fuck? You don't know, right? You know, and I'm like, why do these doctors pushing this shit? Oh, I know what they're saying. It's the spasticity, right? Well, there's got to be other alternatives. There is Botox, but, you know, it's a 10-minute ordeal where they're poking him with needles, right? But at least it's like, it's localized. It's not throughout his whole fucking body, including his brain. You know, it would just be mainly in his leg area on the right side and maybe a little bit on the arm, because it's the arm and the leg that are the problem, and his foot with the right foot, because everything on the right side is just tight and curling. But he's active, people. You see, that's the thing. He's active, he's alert, he's aware, he's communicative, he's playful, he's happy. You know, he can get cocky and make you laugh because, you know, he wants to play, right? You know what I'm saying? And they want to take that away from him, people. So what? So what? They can do their operation to prevent pain, even though that's all they're gonna fucking do is create pain for umpteen who knows how many months or perhaps years, with no guarantees that what they did is gonna fucking work, excuse me, boo-boo work, right? As they're saying, well, you still doing something not right here because he's not doing what we want, even though they damn well know he was injured at the time of his birth, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Right? They just want him drugged up before they do the surgery, so after the fact they can keep fucking pumping that drugs into him with that muscle relaxant and the seizure medication. Then it will be some sort of pain relief medication, and then it will be gotta stop the drooling medication. He'll be on 5 fucking medications in 2 years from now if I don't say something about it. But as soon as I start to say something about it, we know what's going to happen, people. We know what's going to happen. Shut. Go to sleep. If he was on that drug right now, he'd be laying up there, not moving, drowsy, drooling, nauseated, might puke. I could get up and go find that he puked from their medication. If he was in pain, in pain, 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 I'd say something about it. Does he have issues with tightness? Fucking right he does, people. Of course he does. Right? But I don't think it warrants turning him into a, I don't know what. Because the end goal is when he ends up in that wheelchair, he won't even be able to sit in a wheelchair, people, spread eagle like this, because his back is fucking deformed. It's always been something wrong with it. I've been saying it since I got him, and I really got to handle him. Okay, you have to remember, when Shamay had him, I didn't mother Amari, because I wanted Shamay to mother her own baby, and I didn't want to be the meddling mum. I didn't want to be the meddling mum and try and take over my daughter's baby because I had this need to be in control. That was not my mission. So I didn't notice these things until after I got him. And I've always said, I do believe somewhere through that birthing process, his back was broken. Or nearly broken. Something was broken in his back. It's not all brain related. I don't think so. And how the hell they're going to get him sitting spread eagle like this in a cast for 8 fucking months so that they can work on their research study as they try and sit up there and say that's not what it is, which is a bunch of freaking crock. Okay? He can't even, oh, he's going to sit straight like that? Yeah, okay, I'd like to see that happen. Oh, I know. We'll just give him some muscle relaxant and he won't have a fucking choice because he'll be like this. And once in a blue moon, he'll do an Uncle John and he'll wake fucking up and act normal until the next dose. Right? Until the next dose. Yeah. And when something goes wrong and he pukes and he breathes it in or whatever because they got him like this, and you don't react fast enough, and it's not like you can flip him over and lodge it out or whatever, right? Who are they going to point the fingers at? They're going to point the fingers at me, people. Even though it was their fucking drug that did it. Think about it. Think about it. And you try and take it away from him, once he's on it, he goes into withdrawal. Seriously. Oh, yeah, okay. He's not even 6 years old. Okay. Okay. What are you doing? Now, for anybody that wouldn't give a shit, oh, it's godsend. It shuts him up. You won't have to deal with it. Right? If something bad happens, well, what you gonna do? Right? Well, I don't want something bad happening. It's enough I go back and forth fucking 5 times every 5 minutes. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Now, they got me running every second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm like so mad, you don't even know how mad I am. What are you doing? I know you're worming around in there. And he's fast. So fast. But when he sits himself up, we got another small rail there. It took away the big tall one for a while. I have to sand it down and paint it, right? But when the small one is there and he manages to sit himself up and he's looking and he's holding and, he knows, right? Oh, God, he is so proud of himself, people. He is so, so, so proud of himself. And they're going to take that away from him even before he has the freaking surgery. It's almost like they're prepping him for the fucking surgery. That's how I feel about it. Because after surgery, they're going to keep him on this shit so that he won't fucking move and he'll do... It creates psychological problems. I read it. Okay? Like, this is fucking torture, man. You don't even know. To me, it's like torture. They're torturing my grandson. Yeah. I don't know where the other one is. This is, I don't know, I can't see. Anyway, I'm going to have to start massaging him. Like, really just working with the whatever. I'm going to teach Andre. I told him we're going to do it together. Yeah, you know, take turns, right? I want Andre to help look after Amari when I can't do it no more, people. Andre's been with Amari since Amari's been a baby. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So anyway, I'm so upset, you don't even know. Because these doctors, they're just drug pushers. Yeah. When it comes to this kind of stuff, it'll be 7 medications later. Right? And then what? Oh my God. 7 medications later, and then what? All to relieve pain as they're cutting into him. Yeah. All to relieve pain. There's just, I don't know. He's always going to be gimped up, people. Right? They want that Amazon, remember? Viking. A fucking Viking. What are you doing? You're just being so rambunctious in there. Stop it. Where are you? What are you doing? You're just being a goof. You're being goofy. Stop being so goofy. What are you doing? Amari. Oh, jeez. You're playing, I don't know, you're playing possum with me. It's not funny. Stop it. You're playing possum. No, you're just so full of fucking vinegar. It's pathetic. No. Stop it. You're just a possum. That's what possums do. That's what possums do. Stop it. He's playing possum with me. You know? Laying there, you're not moving. But I can see he's smiling. And of course I'm getting scared, right? Because he's not responding. Right? And he, you know, right? He waiting for a reaction. You heard him. He started giggling. He thought it was funny. I don't find it very funny, people. So why the fuck would I want to encourage it? Seriously. Right? There's got to be a better alternative. Okay? And this looking for a Viking, you know, the Hulk, right? Looking for that handsome 6'2", you know, has a lot of charisma. You're never going to get that out of Amari, okay? You know? I'm just saying, right? But that's the pedestal, that's the hurdle I have to jump over all the time. And if I don't fucking fall in line with the stupid shit in terms of this stuff, oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, I said, well, when I talked to the pediatrician, right, I said, you know, I think I'm gonna go with the Botox, right, because, you know, he goes, oh yeah, well, you know, he might need both. Yeah, okay, well, we know where you're at. He might need both. Yeah, okay. And then what? For how long? His whole life? So mentally, you know, it's enough he's the way he is. But at least he has personality. I mean, you just seen that. He was playing possum with me. Okay, right. You know, he's not sleepy. He wants to play. I've been playing with him. I played with him before I even turned on this camera. Okay? You know, let him sit up and exercise his arm and, you know, and counted the hand. And but it's like you have to, I don't know, I'm going to have to do it like 6 times a day. Right? I'll do 3 times and I'll teach Andre how to do it 6 times a day to help him, just to see if that will help make a difference. Because doing it once or twice for 10 minutes at a time isn't enough. That's why they rely on this shit. That's why, people. And then if he's with a caregiver that doesn't want to freaking deal with it, well, there you go. Your problem solved. He's half asleep for 24 hours a day. You might get a good fleeting moment in there, like an Uncle John, right? But for the majority of the time, who knows what you're going to get. Seriously, to me is like a freaking ticking time bomb. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the more I read up on that, in terms of quote-unquote muscle relaxants, through pill form or liquid form, or because it's all chemicals, right? You know, I'm like, oh yeah, great, thanks. Set me up for even more failure. Set Amari up for even more failure, right? But I figure they're just setting him up for when they cut into his hips, and they've got him exactly where they freaking want him. Yep. To which I don't see as quality health care. I just don't, people. I just don't. So anyway, I'm slowly but surely working on paperwork to pass over to that lawyer. It's obviously taking some time because, you know, I've got lots of things to do in a day. I'm still doing food prep, putting, you know, this away. I'm going to get honey coming in, and I got to wash the jars. I managed to find a place to put them, but I had to create the space and move things out, which whatever. I did manage to print out Andre's medical files, because I'm giving this woman a copy of Andre's medical files as comparison compared to Amari's medical files, right? This is Andre's, and this is only 2 times of being at the Surrey Memorial Hospital. The first time was when he was born. Look at this. Do you see how much that is? First time when he was born. Now it's single pages. It's not back to back, right? First time was when he was born, and they had him, I think, for about 2 weeks because of the methadone. There is misinformation in these files in relation to Sierra. They tried to paint her as a HIV user before she gave birth to Andre, which is not true. Sierra didn't use, a needle or syringe until after they kicked her out of the house on December 10th of 2012. And they did that illegally, which disconnected her from her methadone and her home and her safety net and her son and her family. And within 10 days, someone injected her with heroin, and she was hooked up until the bitter end. Prior to that, everything was smoked in a pipe. Okay? So they're lying. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it's a smear campaign to justify what they fucking did. And then they took him back to the hospital. So we'll just say that much or so. Yeah, about that much or so. I didn't read everything. I just kind of went through it briefly, right? That much was when he was born for the first 2 weeks. Where maybe that much, actually probably even a little less, is when the social worker who kicked out Sierra and the foster care parent took Andre, I guess, to the Surrey Memorial Hospital right before the time that my lawyer told me I needed to go see Andre because Andre wasn't eating and he wasn't talking and they were getting concerned about him. And that if I didn't start seeing him, the judge would think that I didn't care. And that was like in July and June. To which, that's when they took him to the hospital. And they ran a series of tests on him. And that's it. Those 2 times. I've already started to do a little bit of this. Right? So now I have to number them, type out what I think I'm reading, or point out the misinformation. Okay, to correct that Sierra did not do intravenous drugs until after she was kicked out of the house illegally. Is it going to get any justice for Sierra? No. But at least the lawyer will see the pattern after it's all submitted. So now I'm going to pull out Shamay's medical files. And her binder's like this. And I'm going to do a photocopy of that. Put in my sticky tapes. Type everything out, number. So she can go from section to section to section. And, right? And then I'll do Amari's. And once I've got those 3 done, and I'm also going to include, I guess, 3 or 4 or 5 pages of the birth of Shamay. Was it Shamay? No, sorry, it's Tisha. When I gave birth to Tisha, and that nurse gave me too much oxytocin, to which tilted my uterus, but I didn't find that out until years later from a different doctor. Okay? But almost killed Tisha at that time when I was giving birth to Tisha with that oxytocin that made me almost fly out of the fucking room. Nowhere in my medical files is that referenced. So I'm going to take out that little piece and I'm going to include it with this stuff with a note that it's a falsified record where information that's pertinent was omitted to cover up malpractice with maleficence, because the Chinese nurse that did that to me did it with intent. Okay? She had me exactly where she wanted me, and she fucked me over. When I should have went on my instincts and left, because the issue was there when I was coming in, being wheeled in or whatever, right? You go to submit yourself in and they, the arguing was starting before I even got into the fucking birthing room. There was no doctor that delivered Tisha. It was a Chinese nurse that gave me too much oxytocin and almost killed my baby, as she would basically sterilized me by tilting my fucking uterus. And I'm going to write that down to show the pattern of the Surrey Memorial Hospital. Yeah. And how they like to falsify their records. Or what are they going to say? That I'm lying? Yeah, okay. What do you want me to go see Dr. Fasinski so he can give me a fucking test to see if my uterus is tilted? As if we can trust Dr. Fasinski to do anything right by their patients, by his patients? Yeah, okay. Like, seriously, man, you don't even know. So anyway, I'm in a dilemma. I'm in a complete fucking dilemma. I said, Andre, are you prepared to have Amari just start puking? Because that could happen. He goes, no. Because it's frightening. What are you doing? Go to sleep. You little too rambunctious. Yeah. No. Go to sleep. I'm serious. You can't really leave him alone. Because if you leave him alone, like if he's in the bedroom, and he's on the bed, and you pencil him in, and you think he's safe with the blankets and the pillows and the baby rail, like, or whatever, you know, you just never know when he's going to pull something like a pillow or a blanket on himself. Normally he's pretty good, but every now and then he can get caught up with the blanket. We went through that. You caught, you know, right, on the video that one time I told you. Well, you know, it's like, fuck, man. You don't even know people. Like, you don't even know. Like, it's easy for these doctors to, I don't even know if this was a doctor that prescribed this to him. It must have been a doctor. He should have took him to the children's hospital. You know, he sees the hip doctor. And this was through, I don't know, Sunny Hill, that's connected to the children's hospital. But I guess it's like to do more with the specificity. Whatever. Oh. So I'm just trying to stay positive, okay? I'm like, when they start saying something to me, you know, I'm just going to come with the information, right? And just say, look, you can't force me to give him something that can make him puke. And maybe I'm not there to hear it or see it. Andre isn't there all the time, you know. 99, 98, 97% of the time, somebody's there listening, but not always, right? It's like stupid. And why would I want him lethargic? I'd rather him like this, people, getting on my nerves all day long, sometimes, because, you know, he's active, right? He's like really active. Than to have him listless and be completely lethargic and dopey and dizzy and feeling nauseated and confused and maybe just whatever, sleepy. I mean, like, come on. Where's the benefit in that? And then we wonder why they develop brain problems. Right? Like psychoses and all that shit. As if a child with cerebral palsy could even develop psychoses. But it's not anything I want to find out. Hell no. Hell no. What are you doing over there? Huh? Tell me. I heard you. I heard you. You're still giggling. Why? Go to sleep. As your mother would say. Amari, what are you doing? Making all that noise. Huh? Are you playing possum again? You're playing possum. Yeah. You see? And now he's not responding, so I get nervous, so I'll get up and go look again. So it's three times since I've done the video, 4 times. That's all I do, all day long. Right? You don't even know. Like, he's making noise, I can hear him, right? And I know he's moving. And he's getting stronger, and his reach is getting longer, you know, and I'm like, okay, this is why they want him like this, people. Right? You know, that you can swoop him and take him and put him someplace else, right? Right? I'm just saying, right? To justify whatever the fuck it is that they're going to do later on in life when I'm not around. Yeah. We know how that works. Right? Who knows? You can't blame me for not thinking like... You can't blame me for thinking like that. Okay? Because I don't find this to be helpful at all. Mm-mm. No. So, now, on a good note, we don't know yet, okay? I'm going to give this information. I'm going to quit this now. I can't feel sorry for myself. And I love Amari for Amari, and I accept Amari for Amari, and you know, and I'm going to do what I can, the best I can, as I can. So, every now and then I go like this for the ones that spy on me with their spyware. Just remind them. I went out, it's funny, and other people have noticed this too. I have this little pore here that gets to be a problem every now and then, right? Anyway, I really should go see a doctor about it, but just like, where am I going? Who am I going to go see? It's not like I can go to the clinic that I used to go to because Dr. Vasinski works there. Ha, ha, ha. My family doctor. Ha, ha, ha. So anyway, I went off and I got some comfrey from my yard, right, to use as a poultice to draw out, you know, whatever, right, to shrink it or something, because it's like a clogged pore that you can't really squeeze, and it's like getting hard, and it's turning into like maybe a cyst of something. So if I squeeze a little bit harder, sometimes I get a little bit out, but I bruise myself, I hurt myself, and I can still feel it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take a bit of comfrey, and I put it on there. So I did that. Now, you know what? I turned on my freaking camera my computer the next day, like just yesterday or to this morning or whenever. And what's up there in terms of their suggestions with their, videos on YouTube? Oh, let's talk about comfrey. How interesting. How is it that the computer can know that I was just outside mucking with comfrey the day before? It's because they spy on you people. They got their fucking houses bugged. Okay, these landlords, like I say, they work in partnership with corrupt governments. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. What was the good note? I don't even remember. No. Oh yeah. I think this is it. So I'm going to continue to work on this paperwork. If this lawyer turns me away and says, no, I disagree with what you say, and she can show me exactly why she feels that way and explain it where I basically understand it. If she can't convince me of whatever it is that she's trying to say nay on, then I'm just going to take paperwork back and go get a second opinion. Yeah, because Amari deserves private care, people. If there was more resources for Amari to have people come in and give him a massage and, and just, or whatever, right? Like homeopath therapy and that kind of stuff. Maybe some chiropractor work, right? Wouldn't have to rely on this. Yeah. So, because, I don't want Amari on multiple medications. What are you doing? That sounds suspicious. I gotta go check on him. What are you doing? You're still making noise. What are you doing? Light switch. What happened to the light switch? Oh, okay. I heard you. I heard you. Yeah, okay, what do you got? You're just not sleepy. Why? Why are you not sleepy? What's the matter with you? What is the matter with you? Better than a lithless child that could vomit at any moment. right? So anyway, yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this stuff. I'm going to give this lawyer as much information as I can to show a pattern. I don't care if fucking Sonia 2 is watching this video, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, that individual was a fake. Right along with Judge Ross. Serious. Okay, the whole thing was nothing but a kangaroo court, as Uncle John would say. Right? And Amari deserves better than that, and so does the rest of my family. So, I've included Sierra's coroner report. I've included the fact that I put an application in through, Freedom of Information through the hospital to get Sierra's medical records, and I was denied under this section and this section and this section for these reasons. Just so the lawyer can see how I'm being screwed around. Right? And I'll provide a copy of the video on the day Sierra died. Yeah. Where, the baby-faced cop is saying, "Did you get the stuff?" As the body dude guy is walking down the stairs looking at his fucking cell phone. Right? And I'm going to write it for the lawyer to read it, that I believe that my daughter was in a snuff movie. Whether the lawyer wants to acknowledge that or not remains to be seen. Because they're supposed to be at arm's length and not be the judge and the jury. They're the ones that are the speaker they represent, right? They speak loud and proud for justice, right? Unless, of course, they're trying to cover up a crime, like Sonia 2, for the Attorney General's office, and the Public Safety Solicitor General's office. I'm just saying. Okay. So anyway, I'm in a dilemma, people.